Ever thought about starting your own business? If you have, you're probably thinking, well, even if I had, now is exactly the wrong time. This is pretty much the worst economic downturn of our generation. Well, there are things you can do about that. There's now a course at Cass Business School that maybe will give you the skills and a lot of other things that would enable you to get over those initial fears of stepping out into the unknown. The person who runs the course is Julie Logan. I asked her to tell me all about it.
It's a new venture creation course, and it's really for people who are either have got a good business idea and they want to come to us, get some advice and get access to some funding. But it's also for people who've just launched their business and they need, additional skills. So they're coming really to perhaps learn how to do things that they might not be so good at, such as entrepreneurial marketing, a new way of doing marketing, which is very appropriate for small business. Or they might be coming because they don't really quite understand how they're going to grow that business and scale it up so eventually they can exit the business. And then in addition to that, we've actually got people up there who've already started. Some have started with one product and then realized that actually they don't have such a competitive advantage as they thought they were going to have, and they're looking at how they can make their business a little bit more unique and perhaps increase their market, that sort of thing. So we have a variety of people on this new venture creation course. Most of them want to learn new skills and a bit more about, how to scale their ventures. And some of them obviously want access to finance.
You mentioned access to funding, access to finance. This course, you're giving real practical help to people on what is one of the thorniest problems facing a new business.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of the most difficult resources for entrepreneurs to find is finance. And people always say, well, if you've got a good idea, you'll get funding. But actually, it's often who you know and getting yourself in front of the right people. Now, what we're doing on this particular program is we actually bring in the investors. They actually meet them. They do a pitch to them. The investors are around all weekend, so they get to talk to them informally. They're establishing bonds with those investors. And then we actually have some what you might call soft funding, and it's only soft in the way that it's available to start these people off. They've still got to have a really good business idea. They've still got to go through all the hurdles, but we have got a pool of money there, and we can, if we think it's a fantastic idea, get them started.
I realise I'm being a nasty, sceptical journalist, but isn't this a really bad time to be starting a new business in the wake of the worst economic downturn of our lifetime?
Well, this is a very interesting question, actually. And I think the first thing to say is that all recessions end. We had a recession in 1980. We had another recession in 1990. So if you start your business now, I mean, there are a number of things. Firstly, if you start a business now and you can get going while things are a little bit quiet, you've actually got the time to really get on top of your marketing, get on top of your financial control, test the market and prepare yourself so that as you come out of the recession, you can really take advantage of the upturn. And what we do know, particularly from the 1980s recession, was that the small companies in the US who were prepared and were innovative actually really were able to take advantage of the recession and actually scored way above the big companies and increase their market share. So a small innovative company, which is fleet of foot, can really take advantage of this situation. Now, the next thing to say is that whether it's an upturn or a downturn doesn't really matter, because there will always be new opportunities. So, for example, people will be thinking now perhaps not about buying so many branded goods. That makes an opportunity for good quality goods, that aren't branded. People may not be spending so much on restaurants and takeaway coffee. It provides an opportunity for a smaller company to come into the marketplace. So just because it's a recession doesn't mean to say the opportunities have dried up.
Of course, not everyone on your course is a start-up. Some of the people who've enrolled are running businesses that are quite well established. They're looking for new ideas. What help can you give them, businesses that are already up and running?
I mean, one of the massive problems in a recession, of course, is that many companies go down. And for small companies, they're often taken down by larger companies. I've come across 3 companies in the last week who have gone bankrupt because their larger customers owed them money. So one of the things we're teaching people on this course is really about keeping your financial control tight, being very on the ball, looking at where your business is going, being far more sort of fleet of foot, and keeping things tight. If things go down, don't think these people who are working for me are my friends, I don't want to get rid of them, I'll leave it to the last minute. Cut immediately. You've got to be absolutely ruthless. The moment you see the signs, you've got to do something. And we're trying to get people to be thinking about that. And if another thing we might get them to think about is, look, if you don't stand out from the competition, how are you going to survive? What can you do to make yourself stand out from the competition? If your product is already coming to the end of its life and the market is beginning to dry up, what's your next product? Where are you going? What can you do? And how can you perhaps organize your business differently? How can you tie in your customers so that they remain with you for a long time?
This is all quite scary stuff. Are there any reasons to be optimistic?
I think there are excellent reasons to be optimistic. Every recession comes to an end, as we've said. And as we come out of this recession, it's going to be an absolutely fantastic time for small, innovative businesses.
Julie Logan, thank you very much.
Thank you.